folks, Aaron from Beansprout here. I'm going to start a little series of videos where I talk more about tool handles and tools and ergonomics and kind of my journey with arthritis and chronic pain. I think when you first get started in a craft, someone hands you a tool and you just use it, and you don't quite think at that time about how it fits your hand or how it fits your body. But if you're going to put the number of hours in a week or a month or a year holding that tool, eventually you get to the point where you realize that how it interacts with you is actually really important. Not to sound too pretentious, but like, you know, a concert violinist has very specific ideas about their bow and their instrument that a builder has to work really hard to reach. And so if as woodworkers, if we're going to progress from brute force into a life of art and craft, maybe how we interact with the tools could be the same as how a musician interacts with their instruments. So obviously that's an easy analogy for me as a musician and an artist. So I thought I would go through today just some handles for knives and chisels and how I've modified them and altered them to fit my body. And in later videos, if we keep going on this subject, we can talk about other stuff in the shop. So let me adjust the camera to show what I'm working on here, and we'll get going. Okay, so today let's just talk about knives, I think. In the lutherie shop and in the general wood shop, you know, I'm using different kinds of knives all the time. And how they hold in my hands really matters. I think when I was younger, or just starting out, I think I liked things with really small handles because it felt like I could do delicate work. But as my hands have gotten worse, to grasp my hand all the way down to the size of a smaller object, it needs more force and it causes more pain. So now I appreciate things with larger handles. So an example is, here's a regular X-Acto. You know, there's probably 5 X-Acto knives in the shop. They're everywhere. And you see it's like a pen. And I get why people would think that's cool. But I started to feel that I didn't like holding these. So I made a little wooden handle and then sunk the blade holder here. And this is pretty good, but it's still kind of a pen size, even though it's got a little swell. Another option is that, like, X-Acto also makes ones like these to hold tools. I use these ones for the little hook scrapers. And then, you know, there's another one like this. So I appreciate that this is a little bigger and that this is bigger still, and this has got the palm swell, but I just don't like plastic and I don't like holding it. So what I started to do over time is find handles that I did like the feel of. So a good example is this amazing bit of American design and manufacturing, the Stanley 199 knife. You probably just think, it's a box cutter, who cares? Well, if you feel that way, then you're not the kind of nerd I am. So it doesn't retract, so the blade's really stable. You can put blades in the handle. It's like cast aluminum. I have another one that's more like a cast steel. And this, it's got this big swell to the handle, but you can get up close here at the end if you want to. And I actually love my Stanley 199. I have several of these around the shop for various jobs. A kind of similar thing is my Sloyd knife. This is more a Frost. That's this swell, the palm swell. It's palm swell, but it's also got a flat registration. So I can hold and carve with this all day, while a smaller knife is a bummer. This is my belt knife. It's on my belt all the time. This is one I made in a blacksmithing class and made the handle for, and it's a similar vibe. So anyway, what I did find from a guy that I know in the vintage tool world, he found a box of like 50 of these. They're made on a lathe. They're mahogany. They have a little brass ferrule, and I think I bought 15 from him now, and I got 5 in the mail coming, replacing broken or weird handles. So I sunk my X-Acto knife into this now, and it's great. Really feels like I could hold it longer. So also on this right hand, this particular part of my thumb joint is so overworked that it collapses. There's a degeneration of the ligaments and tendons and the joint space. So when I hold a bigger thing, I don't have to push as hard and I collapse a little less. So I just like that. Where am I going from here? I've got, and so I also put my Ryan Gerber scraper, kind of a miniature scraper, in the same handle. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting my micro chisels in those handles too. These are the little model maker's chisels, and in the lutherie shop we use these all the time. But I hate this little tiny thin pencil handle. This is my marking knife that my friend Dan made me. It's just got a twine wrapped handle, and I think I actually ought to put this into a larger handle because I don't use it as much as I'd like to. I end up using the Stanley knife more just because I can hold it better. So that's knives. I mean, I could talk about knives all day. Next time I think we'll do chisels, talk about those a little bit. So yeah, my whole goal with this is just to be able to continue doing this job. And if I can't hold the tool and do my job carefully without pain, I mean, I'm going to be in pain the rest of my life, but without being in too much pain, then what's the point of all this, right? I need to be able to do this. So if I can hold things a little better, I'd rather. Okay, thanks a lot.